Stan Gibilisco here, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV Whiskey 1 Good Vibrations at your service to explain another variation on my mobile dipole antenna concept. In a previous video, not only a couple days ago, maybe just yesterday, I alluded to the idea that a dipole antenna can lend itself to mobile applications just as well as an end-fed quarter wave resonant vertical antenna can. There's no particular reason why it can't. I just acquired a vehicle which I rather affectionately call Little Number 9, and that's in relation to Big Number 8, which was a big old Toyota Tundra elevated truck. This thing is a little Chrysler PT Cruiser, circa 2005, has about 1/4 of the metal mass, and the interconnections of the metal masses for grounding purposes among the components of this vehicle are not so good, I don't believe, so I'm going to need to hopefully dispense with the idea of an RF ground altogether. An electrical ground, yes, but an RF ground hard to come by. My first idea was to install a mast in the back and then put a couple of Hustler quarter wave resonant mobile antennas horizontally like that to make a coax fed dipole. But I just thought of maybe a cheaper and perhaps even more effective scheme, and that is to place just behind the passenger side door some kind of a base mount attachment like you might find with the old high gain antennas. Remember the 14AVQ, the 18V, those base mounts? Mount it right to the side of the vehicle. Make sure that the mast that comes up out of there is vertical. And I could probably use a wooden or PVC or some kind of solid object. It doesn't have to be metal. Mast here and get it up as high as the law will allow above the vehicle. I suppose that would be about 8 foot, maybe 6, 7, 8 foot. Put it in such a position that the legs of a dipole can be reasonably long, going from the top to the center of the back and from the top down to the hood in such a way, hopefully, that it won't cause an obstruction of view. Use very thin, fine wire. Maybe I'll be able to get away with this. But the point is that the lengths L have to be the same. They don't have to be long, but they have to be the same. And then I would feed this thing with window line, which I happen to have a good supply of. That's balanced line, like TV ribbon with holes cut in it, probably a characteristic impedance on the order of 400 ohms. And I also have in here then a transmatch along with the radio, a PAL Star transmatch, and my trusty radio, PAL Star. And the radio is an FT857D. I would run relatively low power, connect that ladder line to, or this window line to this transmatch, and have a little balanced dipole, which would even further eliminate the conundrum of an RF ground, because this little PAL Star transmatch, in effect, would act like a balun. A tunable balun, you could tune it for minimum SWR at the radio, just the same scheme that you use for any open wire fed dipole antenna. And just put it on the vehicle. Now I know it's really short, but 8 foot is a quarter wavelength resonant on 10 meters, so that should make it fairly satisfactory down to 14 megahertz, and maybe even all the way down to 10 megahertz. So I should be able to get 10 through 29.7 megahertz, the 30 meter, 20 meter, 17 meter, 15 meter, 12 meter, and 10 meter amateur bands, and of course I suppose also as a bonus, because the antenna will tune this, 6 meters. So here's the outline, by the way, in case you have lost it in all this busyness. of the vehicle. Just like that. Chrysler PT Cruiser. And now I'm going to have to watch out if I ever decide to put that ragtop down that the antenna doesn't come down with it. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. First, I have to recover enough of my health so that I can travel somewhere and make this whole business relevant in the first place. Otherwise, it's all just academic yammer, which is nothing new from yours truly in the black holes of Dakota Territory, United States of Advertising. Ham radio operator to ham radio operator, 73. And so long for now.